No, not. As you know, the whole case of ego states was firstly developed by Freud himself. He had his superego, ego and it, and there was the instances in the psyche, and then his disciple Paul Federn, he was an Austrian, he was the teacher of Eric Berne. And this man, Federn, first made the definition of an ego state. That an ego state is not a bizarre instance in the or institution in the psyche, but an ego state is something that is has a boundary, that has Kurt Steiner sometimes said it has name and address. It is something specific. It's a part of us. And each of us has different ego states. Yeah? That's behind all this kind of categorization of ego states that I want to put aside for a moment. And the definition that Eric Berne had of an ego state, that out of the continuous stream we have of behavior, thinking and feeling. So please for a moment let all categories of ego states outside of parent or child or whatever, that is important, our practical work, but we don't need it at the moment. Stay with the essence of the ego state, that it is a part of us, a state of mind which is made of a certain part of us. As an individual part of our personality. So we have an inner team of ego states, and in a situation more than one ego state is active. Yeah? More than one ego state is active and offers to be in attention. And modern research in communication says 80% of the effects of communication is made by inner parts of the recipient. So if I'm talking to you, you have an ensemble of your ego states, and they discuss inside of you what you're taking from what I'm saying here. And I think that is a very important contribution of TA to the whole world of psychology. There are a lot of more theories of the ego states, and especially this guy I mentioned, Paul Federn, he had another disciple besides Eric Berne, and this disciple was Watkins. His name was Watkins, and Watkins was the founder of the so-called ego state therapy, and they worked with hypnosis. Yeah. And I was at a conference in Heidelberg in Germany about this therapy method. They had 1,200 people who gathered for this method. That is a strong. In TA we often do not anything about that. We have our ego state theory, they have their ego state theory, and what I'm trying to do is to bring that together in some way. So what is mindfulness at this point? I only mentioned 4 essential elements of mindfulness. It's taken from a German book, das Achtsamkeitsbuch, the Mindfulness book. There is some kind of monitoring of attention in it. Yeah? That means you somehow influence attention. Not everything is you have to be in a context, or you have to somehow realize what you're in, what circumstances you're in to be mindful. That's not for normal people like us, so to say. It's not easy to be mindful in every context. So you have to monitor that. That's very important. Then being in the present. But psychologically, there is no past and no future. There is only present. The past are memories that are realized or recognized in the moment, and also the future is thinking about what will come in the present. So that is typically important to. On the other hand, we have these memories, and also the mindfulness in the Buddhist tradition also includes memories. Yeah, it's not that we are only in the moment, forget everything that was before. If it is there, what was before, Then in the exercise before, I saw this Dutch woman I had the exercise with, and then I looked at your face and I saw my aunt after some time. First that was my sister, and then picture it was memories I had, but I was present, I was mindful in this moment. So we have memories in past also in it, but it is realized in the present. There is no past in real. Acceptance. I thought a lot about accepting own scripty behavior. There's always the question in TA, is there something beyond script, or can we be script-free? From the mindfulness point of view, we first would say you can be in your script, but recognize it. Be mindful that you are now in your script behavior. So also the developmental path we go in our life. Intuition 1, that is the Bernian intuition. Bern defined the intuition as something that we don't know how it comes in the moment, but he also focused that it is made of earlier experiences. When we come to an intuition 2, that is somewhat different. So changes in mood, biographical experiences, like traumatic experiences are connected to feelings at the moment. Then we have the rational or thinking level with all this kind of stuff behind. There is the intuition 2 in it. This part of, as C.G. Jung said, there is the nose for the possible, Nase für das Mögliche. He was a Swiss guy. There is something that you can, you don't have an idea why it is so, but you can feel a potential in a situation. So that is the ego construct. The first 3 levels are somehow like the definition of the ego state. You know, thinking, feeling, and let's say the body image or body level is something like behavior. So we can find these 3 elements in it. And above that we make a so-called ego construct. Script is a part of our ego construct. There is no ego. We every morning we construct our ego, looking in the mirror and whom do I remember now? Who is this guy? And then all the material in an unconscious way does its work. So the ego construct. So that's very important for mindfulness, that there is no fixed ego or fixed personality. And I think that is very important for TA2 to have a distance to yourself. There is a famous quote of Viktor Frankl. He was a psychoanalytic person from Vienna, and also he was in a German concentration camp, Buchenwald. And he said sometimes, I don't know, I first write the German version, ich lasse mir doch von mir nicht alles gefallen, what means I don't want to be a slave of myself. Yeah. So a distance to the own ego construct that we have made our ego. We as TA people know that. That is the script process. We construct a story about our life, and we do that in the time up all the day further and develop this kind of script. Maybe script free, but it is a story. So then we have a very interesting these 4 aspects we focus in daily life, and we talk to people or work with people. Normally we have these aspects about what is with the body, with the feelings, with the thinking. What is their personality? How do they feel? I'm working in the organizational field. There are a lot of money is spent for that people can learn something about their ego construct. This guy is more extroverted, and this is more introverted people, or this is more a feeling type, or all this kind of stuff to find who am I? Yeah, that's a very important question for people, but it's not. You cannot answer that. That really, it's all. You're going from one construct to another, maybe to a better construct, but it stays the construct. Then there are two interesting levels I also will integrate in the exercise that we will do in a moment. That is the so-called transgenerational level. Perhaps you know that that is also in TA integrated, for example, by Florian Ojega, who got the EBMA, the Eric Byrne Memorial Award, 2-3 years ago, about her work with transgenerational family tradition. So that means we are not only our small egos. So as we are now in the northern area, they had the religion of the Germanic people. They had the image that there is a long row made for us all, and there is an empty place in the middle. That is the place we got. There are the people before us, and there are some after us. I think that is a good image, this long line or row of people where we have a certain part in it. And this is the kind of thinking behind that, the transgeneration, that it's not only about us, but also about the people before and the people that are coming after us. Own family tradition, delegation, culture, archetypes, former lives, if you believe in this kind of concept, like Buddhist or Hinduist people do. So a lot of people in the world believe in former lives. As I did my TSDA exam in India, I was confronted by a supervisor who told me, a psychotherapist who told me that her client connects his problems with a former incarnation. I always said, as a German organizational psychologist, I said, okay, that's not the stuff I'm every day used to, but somehow we changed to the body level. I was very interested and got this question. I said to her, where do you feel this problem? And we got to the body level, and all this kind of former life stuff I could go around and had not focus because I was accepting that, but it was not a thing I could directly work with. But it is important, and you also see that is the construct level in this also. These people are believing in former lives, then it is reality, and it influences life, it influences body and feelings and all kind of stuff. And I also focus on the next generations. Then we have the non-dual level, experiences of connectedness, of oneness, mystic perception, realizing of emptiness of all. Who does meditation regularly of you? Yeah, there are some. Well, that is a part of being connected to this level. That's not easy to describe. It's some kind, if you sometimes had the taste of this feeling of connectedness and of emptiness of all, then you never forget it. But it's not a thing of training or something, but it's for all the other levels, it's very important, or is a healthy thing to integrate this non-dual level or meditation things in life. So as I said, I've 3 times a year I take a week for a Zen meditation, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and sit down, and at 9 o'clock in the evening it stops, and then for 5 days. So you can train your non-dual level in many ways. For some people it's hearing music or maybe doing some sports. So it's very important also. And the mindfulness for TA, I think it's important to connect the levels. It's not only the body level. We have to, if we have a feeling of yeah, what is in the moment, and in what kind of level I'm processing or I'm encountering with myself in the moment, then we are in a state of mindfulness. Not to say, you are in your script now and be mindful, or you're thinking about the relationship to your mother, be mindful. That's not mindful. Mindfulness is to accept what is and also I think the wonderful thing in TA is that it is a psychotherapeutic and a Western approach that is very well added to the tradition of the Eastern countries. Sometimes a lot of people in our Western world think the meditation and that's the real solution. The other things, but I think the connecting of it. Some things you have to work through, and you have to be aware of your script processes, for example. It doesn't vanish by sitting in Zen meditation. It doesn't. There are people who were 25 years in a cave in the Himalaya, and they came back and had the same patterns as before.